Welcome to Real Talk Wrestling. I'm your host, Josh. Look at that. StreamYard put everyone in the right spot for the first time in a long time. With me is our boy, Miami Clutch, PE, and of course, Chris Koffler, the natural heel on the show. Now that we have a WWE person, I'm going to side with the WWE person all night. So get used to it.
For now.
For now. Hey, Clutch, are the Miami Heat still in the playoffs? I don't
Hey,
know.
hey,
I'm not trolling. I'm not Drew McIntyre-ing you. I don't know.
it feels like you were, but yeah, they're not in the playoffs. I was
Okay.
gonna come back at you with are the Lightning still in the playoffs?
No, they're not. They're
Okay.
definitely
They,
not.
they both got eliminated 4-1.
There you go.
Yeah.
Equal playing ground, except for he's a Panther supporter, which is,
I'm
by
only
the
a part.
way, I before we get into wrestling, I want to say it was a full-on power play throughout the whole series. It was the referees and the Panthers versus the Bolts. They had like 3 goals called back overall. The Lightning did. And the last game was a freaking pathetic joke about how my boy was in the crease and interfered with the goalie. Y'all guys pushed him into him. But I won't talk about hockey on the show. I'm so mad about that. It was an embarrassment for the NHL. Anyway, you know what else is an embarrassment? Our boy Tony Khan showing
Oh,
up on
boy.
NFL Network with a neck brace, trying to sell a Meltzer driver, or as he called it, the Tony Khan driver, as they call it now.
Yep.
That happened since we last spoke. We have the WWE draft that happened since we last spoke. A lot of people in different places. Some people are in the same places. We're going to break down the draft and how they actually do it. I'm going to ask Clutch a bunch of questions because I don't like the way they do it, but I'm sure Clutch does. And we also have, some Jack Perry stuff. Did you see the internet promo, Chris?
The internet promo? No, I didn't see that one.
All right, you got to track that down. Where do you guys want to go first? Draft? Do you want to go Tony Khan? Where do we want to go tonight? What do you want to talk about?
If you want, we can get Clown Man out of the way first.
We can get Clown Guy out of the way, the biggest clown of the universe. I did not watch the draft night 1 because I was at the Lightning game.
Yep.
And I did not watch the draft on day 2, the NFL draft, guys, because Friday, I believe I went fishing. So I missed all of it. I was on Twitter. I saw a picture of Tony Khan in a neck brace, and I thought it was photoshopped. I thought somebody like, hey, look at this guy. I thought it was fake. I'm like, there's no way he did it. What do you guys think about it?
I saw the draft live, right? So I saw when the Jaguars were on the clock and they showed Tony Khan with the neck. I before it happened, I was like, if he shows up in a neck brace and does it well, I'll give him credit because at least he's selling and wrestling, whatever. But then they showed him in the neck brace and he was just smiling, laughing, moving his neck like nothing was wrong, and it was terrible.
Yeah. That was the part of it that was so bad was like he didn't follow through on it. He only have to, I'm wearing the neck brace, I'm good. And he's just, hey, what's going on? We're drafting and like everything's great. Like, no, you should look like you're in discomfort. You didn't sell it at all, other than you have a neck brace on. So he just looked like, as Josh, as you say, he looked like his normal goofy Muppet self.
Exactly. He looked like a big Muppet with a stupid CVS or Walgreens or Rite Aid, a neck brace on. Sell it more. Make me feel like you're in pain, especially if you're going to be in interviews and you're acting like this is real. Like if you're actually living the gimmick, that's fine. If you want to do it, that's fine. My problem with this angle, with this whole situation is, didn't you just have a year-long angle where one of your superstars, one of your wrestlers was in a neck brace? You're just repeating the same story, just a different person. Now you're just Tony Khan doing it. It'd be cool if it just didn't happen. The whole neck strong thing, Roddy Strong, we all know this happened, right? Like it just happened. It'd be like Pac. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, it'd be like Pac using the bell hammer against Orange Cassidy, like in different matches, like he did. And then, like 2 months later, maybe a month later, we see, John Moxley use the hammer a bunch of times. Like we just saw this gimmick. This just happened on your television for a year. So why are we doing it again? Why are we repeating this? If he's gonna live the gimmick, like we all said, I want to know this. Did he go into the Jaguars office, go, hey Doug, Dad, I don't know the GM's name, whatever. Is it cool? can I wear this? Like, would you guys mind? Like, they're like, oh, like, you know how, like, if you ever work with a family business, you just humor the kids because the kids are, like, they're shitty. They have no idea what they're doing at their job. They get paid millions of dollars by their dad, but they have no fucking clue. And you're like, yeah, Jaden, yeah, Cameron, do whatever you want. Do whatever. You're good. You're cool. Like, what do you, how was that conversation? Like, what? You're in the NFL draft. Like, this is the most, like, one of the most serious things that your team can do. And you had a clown with the neck brace.
Just spurking away. Had to be an awkward thing for him to bring in, but hey, his dad has let him do this whole company, get it all going. So I don't know. It was probably just, yeah, like you said, just, yeah, sure, have at it, guys. Just ignore him.
Just humor
You
him.
know, it's kind of like what was it, Adam Sandler and Billy Madison, whenever he goes into the room of all the people meeting and they're like, just ignore him and the sounds he's making. It's probably the same deal. But the thing I was going to ask on that real quick, because you said they had just done the whole year-long thing with Roddy Strong. Do you think that they just upcycled that same exact neck brace? Is that Roddy Strong's neck brace? And he's like, yeah, I'm done with it. Here you go. You can use it now.
The props department.
Yeah, is it the exact same one?
TK makes a call to the props department. Hey, you guys got that neck brace Roddy turned in? It's damaged a little bit. Oh, can you like tape it, glue it a little bit?
Yeah.
Good idea. Poor execution.
Yeah, I actually really like the idea. I was like, okay, if he does this, I'll give him credit. I said that out loud to like one of my friends. Then he did it. I gave him credit, and then I saw him start twisting his neck like an idiot. And I was like, oh fuck.
The one thing I don't like about Tony Khan, like the biggest thing I don't like about Tony Khan, no matter where he's at, what setting, who's interviewing him, it could be Bustin' Open Radio, it could be NFL Network, it could be ESPN. It's never real. It's like he's a robot. Hey, if you listen to the interview, hey, the Young Bucks or whoever gave you the Tony Khan drive, and then he interrupts. No, it's the Tony Khan driver now, guys. And we're live every single Wednesday night on TBS. So we're live every Wednesday night and Saturday night, 8:00 TBS and TNT. But yes, they renamed. Like he can't have a normal conversation. It's always plug this, plug that. I'm here. We're live now. Check us out. We're doing great. Like he just can't have a real conversation, and that just bugs the hell out of me with Tony Khan. If you watch the interview, he promotes Collision like 10,000 times, and in Dynamite
he comes off as like, please watch my show.
Please, like the ratings are in, guys. 700,000 people watched the show last night. Just want to let you guys know that.
That's pretty much where it's been since they released the video, though, right?
Yep. They lost 100. They were on 850 before the video. Even this is when they were bad. This was before Dynasty, before the Sting match. They were around 850 every single week until that video came out. Now they're around 700, 704, 720.
Yeah.
They haven't recovered. And what we said on the show happened. People left. I would have left. If I'm not doing the show, I wouldn't have watched last night. No way.
Yeah. Yep. I feel you on that for sure.
Clutch didn't watch last night.
Of course not. Clutch never watches.
I never do.
There was a couple good things last night, but I do want to rewind to 2 weeks ago when Tony Khan decided to book himself in the main event over his world champion, over his brand new world champion. We come out of Dynasty, and I know this is old news for a lot of you guys, but we come out of Dynasty, and the first thing we see is the best friends. Nobody cares. Second thing we see is Swerve, your new champion, versus a jobber that goes about 15 minutes where Kyle Fletcher took him to the limit. Your new champion is getting beat down by a jobber, a guy who hasn't won a singles match ever, I don't think. And then at the end of the show, and he doesn't talk. Oh, so I finally achieved my mountaintop. I finally got to where I wanted to go. I overcame Adam Page, Samoa Joe. I'm here. Nothing. None of that. We got none of that. And then we got Tony Khan in the main event getting, Meltzer drivered or Tony Khan drivered with Jungle Boy there. Was that a bad move? Was that a bad look? Is this proving the fact that he has no idea how to book a show?
It is weird that they didn't give Swerve maybe the right time slot. But I think as far as booking himself in the main event, I think that's working on what they're building on, which is a later topic that we have here, is that was more about the Young Bucks and where they are headed. And I think that was the start of the build. Maybe was that the right time to do it? Maybe you should have given Swerve at least a show to come out, talk, be the champion, and then move towards that. But I guess maybe they just wanted to do it right there, in Jacksonville, where the whole company got started. Maybe that was important to them. But I think that's what it was for. It wasn't about, I didn't really take that so much as being about Tony as it is. I feel like a lot of this is moving towards the Young Bucks and their new gimmick.
Clutch, how do you see it? Would you think that Triple H would book Cody Rhodes in a 15-minute bout against, I'm trying to think of Kyle Fletcher's, like, let's just say, who's the Kyle Fletcher of WWE? The dude who just got kicked out of Imperium?
I don't know who Kyle Fletcher is.
He was with Will Ospreay, right?
Yeah.
He was in that group.
Aussie Open.
Yeah, he was in Aussie Open, but he was like a background guy. So yeah, I would think the Imperium one would be a good example because you have Gunther, and then you have his other guys that are kind of without him. They're kind of just in the background.
No, Kaiser is a star, but the other guy, Da Vinci,
Yeah.
he's the loser.
Yeah.
He got kicked out of Imperium this last week, or maybe last week. It'd be like Cody Rhodes opening the show, or actually being second. It'd be like this: Raw opens with, I'm trying to think of a storyline no one gives a fuck about, like the best friends breaking up. I don't know. Let's just say
I thought you would like that, by the way. We'll get into that in a minute, but I thought you would be excited for that.
We can get into that because I am excited for it. I like the way this is going. I'm actually liking it. But you don't put that above your world champion, your newly crowned world champion, the first ever black champion in AEW history. No. The first guy AEW and Tony Khan crowned that we selected. The fan base selected Swerve. Adam Page was handed the shot against Jericho the first time. The fans didn't know who he was at the time. He was put into that main event. The fans didn't ask him to be there.
Correct.
Nobody asked Jericho to be there. They put him there. Kenny Omega, we didn't want him to be. Well, I mean, we did, but he was already established he was going to be a champion. I'm talking about Swerve went from heel to loved babyface only because of the reaction of the fan base. That's all it was.
I don't disagree with you, but I thought Hangman was the first when he actually won the title from Kenny.
He was
that was the story that we were all looking forward to, and we liked it. And
he was put there. The fans didn't like
the first time, yes, against Jericho, but the second time it was because the story was lending itself to that, and that's where they got to.
But that was always the way it was going to happen, no matter if the fans rejected it or not. What I'm saying is Swerve probably wouldn't have won this title if the fans didn't take him so.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. It's like kind of like the Kofi Mania thing. That would have never happened without the fan base.
I feel you then. Yeah. That's for
Clutch,
sure.
Can you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar. I mean, I didn't like how they did it. You kind of said it. You said they opened with the best friends, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you compare, right? Cody got his WrestleMania, his moment. He finally won the title. He opens Raw, right? With Triple H putting him way over, all that stuff. If you get your moment, you would assume you either open the show or you close the show. No in between, right? And you kind of just like you open with, I mean, a team I don't know about, and you finish with Tony Khan getting whatever that was.
You don't know. Hold on, you don't know the best friends. Do you not know?
I know the name.
Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy is the Undertaker of AEW. It's been said before.
Why is he the Undertaker?
You never heard that?
No.
That's a real thing.
People drawing this comparison
because he's the go-to guy. Tony Khan can rely on him the most. He is the man in the locker room. Matt Hardy proclaimed on his podcast that he is the Undertaker of AEW.
Okay, I did not hear that. That's funny though.
It was
a weird comparison.
It was a huge story when it happened. It was freaking hilarious.
No.
But yeah, like you treat your world champion like trash, and then we have a and then they announced 2 days later on social media, oh, he's going to open up Collision and talk. Nobody watches Collision.
No,
nobody watches Collision. So
you know what the ratings are on that, by the way?
No, and I totally forgot to do my segment where we forgot what happened on Rampage because I don't know what Rampage was on Saturday night apparently, and Collision was on like at midnight. I don't know what happened on Collision, guys. Nobody knows.
Rampage was on last night.
What?
Did you catch that?
Did you catch that, Clutch?
No.
I did catch it. You know why? Because the overrun ran 10 minutes into Rampage. So I was forced to watch 10 minutes of Rampage. And as soon as the EVPs and Jack Perry beat up Kenny Omega again on the stretcher, and then that segment was over, I believe there was a match that started after that. I just turned it off.
No.
There's no point for me to watch Rampage. No point. Sticking with the AEW topic, and we'll get to the draft, guys. We'll get to the WWE draft. Clutch, you'll get your moment. Don't worry. There's just a lot of things going on in AEW, which you've seen. We go into the Kenny Omega moment where Kenny Omega did return last night. Kenny Omega was in his hometown. Huge, eruption. Biggest pop ever, right? Did the whole North Carolina, right? I mean, I'm over exaggerating. It was a very dead crowd. Very dead crowd. But that was the best promo Kenny Omega's ever had in his entire life. It's the first time I feel like Kenny Omega dropped the Kenny Omega character and actually talked to us like Kenny Omega, the person. And it was real. And I believed everything he said, even if it was true or not. But the whole situation where he can die instantly, or he was 24 hours away from dying, or he's going to be away for a while, or he's going to have that surgery. All that stuff really hit home. I think he's cleared because he wouldn't have done all the things he did without being cleared. But what do you think about that promo?
Yeah, it was really good, and it did seem genuine. That he had his little moment where he got choked up and everything, and it was scary to hear what was going on with him. Why he hasn't been, we all assumed he was injured to some degree, but we didn't realize it was life-threatening and everything. But yeah, I'm hoping he's definitely cleared, because when he's talking about, they're telling him if he takes a bump too hard in the chest, stomach area, then he could die immediately. And then he goes and gets beat up by the Young Bucks and the Elite, I guess now. So yeah, it was a solid promo all around. I'm glad he's back. AEW is always better when Kenny's on the TV.
Clutch, I'm going to shift you. You're an outsider. You don't really watch as much AEW as we do. Have you seen a group of guys feud with the same people for 5 years like the Young Bucks have done? And what I mean by that is it's always against Kenny Omega, with Kenny Omega, against Adam Page, with Adam Page, against the Lucha Bros, with the Lucha Bros, against it's all their friends. They don't ever actually venture out to other people. Like you don't see them against House of Black, or
like they have their own little nucleus that they stay inside
for 5 years.
It's the clique. It's the New Age clique.
It does feel like that, doesn't it? It is
Yeah.
the clique.
Yeah.
It's just wild. Like just imagine the New Day feuding with their friends over there in WWE for 5 straight years.
Yeah.
It's just tiring. I'm kind of over this story. I don't need to see Kenny Omega come back as a babyface and avenge Tony Khan or avenge AEW. I don't need to see it. We've seen it 10,000 times. We all know where this story's going. Adam Page is going to come back with Kenny Omega, because remember last time they were together, they were kind of still at odds. They agreed to like team up against the not Bull Club, the BCC, the Blackpool Combat Club. Remember, they did agree to that, but they weren't really there. This is another long-term booking where now they're going to come back and face against the Elite. Because remember, Adam Page was also suspended from the Elite.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that, Clutch. Suspended from the Elite.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't know what that means exactly, to be suspended and fired from a wrestling group like that.
It's just a comedy thing, Chris.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, what is it supposed to mean within the wrestling world that you're suspended from a stable? Like, who's either you're in the stable or you're kicked out. You're not fired. The stable didn't hire Kenny Omega, right?
I guess not.
Like
Kenny Omega. Can you say it like Don Callis?
No. So it's just that whole I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But getting to it, because you're talking about it. So you don't like this new heel run by the Young Bucks. It felt, I almost tweeted this out, but I was trying to find the right words, and then I saw somebody else tweet it out, and they said that this Young Bucks, this run last night, the beginning of this new phase of it, it feels very much like the McMahon Helmsley era from back in the early 2000s in WWE, where like they kind of kicked Vince to the side and Triple H and Steph took over running the company. Like that's kind of what it feels like. And I was like, do I like it? It's been done, but then I thought about it and it was done 20 years ago. And like, there's only so many stories you can do. And so I'm kind of okay with it. Did you catch what they did with the opening of the show last night? I don't know if you were paying attention or
I
not.
was live on OUS. You can catch me Wednesday nights here on the Finstock Sports Network. I had it on. It was
All right, Tony.
it
You
was
did
the
your I was gonna say you
Yeah.
did that's Tony
that
Khan.
that you yeah, I
So
didn't, but I blinked. I blinked.
So-
But it was on mute, Chris. It was on mute. They were in
so
the back.
what you didn't probably catch because you were preoccupied. If you weren't paying attention watching the beginning, you would have missed this. So they have a new intro video package and a new song to open up Dynamite now. Just debuted last night. The intro video is normally what? Clips of a bunch of different wrestlers. It is clips strictly of the Elite. That's it. Nobody else. They redid for their show that they're taking over. They just did clips of the four of them and nobody else. Everyone else got cut out of the video package.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice little touch, a little something that they added in. So I don't know if they'll do it again next week, but if they do, keep an eye on that.
Hey, Clutch, when Triple H and Steph were running the show on Raw and SmackDown and the Reign of Terror, did Triple H ever look in the camera and give like these stupid faces like did or were they super serious heels that made you hate them?
I mean, yeah, they were the authority. You can stand those guys.
Now these guys are goofy, like they're
Yeah.
playing a character of a character.
So,
Yeah, they're taking a very unserious approach to it.
so Josh, you're going to say you don't like it. You hate it, right?
I don't hate it. I'm gonna let it play out and see where it goes. I hope they get more serious. I really do.
But if they don't, you would say that you hate their character then, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
good. Okay, that's good heel work. They got you to hate them.
No, but it's Chris Jericho hate, not like oh boo, like Don Callis boo or Dominic Mysterio boo. Like we appreciate them, but with the Bucks right now, it's like guys, this isn't working. Let's figure something else out.
But you hate their character. That's perfect. You hate them.
I would love this so much more, and I'm sure a lot of people would if they were more if they took it.
No, I know
seriously.
what you mean. I know. Hey, listen, I got to live up to my gimmick as the heel of the show and get under your skin.
I get it. You're not under the skin yet, but they are. Especially Matt. Matt's got the dumbest faces. The dumbest faces.
I know you've always hated Matt Jackson.
But I like
Jackson.
him. I like him in real life on being the Elite, but I'm not liking the things I'm hearing of from their camp about how much of a coward they are. But it is what it is. I'm more of a CM Punk supporter these days, and that's the truth. I'm not even joking about that. So that happened. Kenny Omega's dead now. He got beat up a bajillion times last night. We also saw one last thing, then we'll get to WWE, guys. I promise. Orange Cassidy walked away with Don Callis after his confrontation with Trent, which I've touted Trent on this show multiple times. I'd like to see more Trent on my television. Trent is a really good worker. He could be a really good heel, a prick heel, a coward heel. I love this. What do you mean no?
No, I don't see him as a coward heel. He's too big and
Big
muscular.
compared to Orange Cassidy.
But he's like ripped though. He's like in really good shape. You don't normally see the really. I just when I think of the people that are,
He's
I don't know,
170 pounds.
I just don't see him as.
Look
being
at the man right here on the screen. Look at this man right here next to Triple H. Look at this man. Look at Drew
Yeah,
McIntyre.
I see him.
That's a man. Trent is 170. I love Trent. He's 170 pounds. Don't compare. Like if you put him against a Brian Cage, or if you put him stand him next to Wardlow, he's gonna look like a little munchkin.
I just don't see him as being the cowardly heel. I don't
right.
see that. He's
But
he's never really had that part to his character though.
Because he's always been a baby face.
Yeah, but even as a babyface, like Chuck was the goofy one, and he's always been like the serious one. Like I'm going to be the one that comes around and beats your ass. Orange Cassidy's going to be lazy. Chuck is goofy. I'm the serious one in this group, and I'm going to come. Like I put his attitude that he's had more like the acolytes from back in the day. You know, like that real serious. I'm here to beat you up. That's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to goof around. So it'd just be a weird turn to see him be like the I'm going to run away heel kind of a person. I don't know. I just don't see it.
Clutch, are you aware of an Orange Cassidy character?
Am I aware of him?
Yes.
I know him as the hand in pockets guy. That's pretty much it.
Are you a fan of his?
I hated him from the start, to be honest. I hate the
250
gimmick.
pounds.
Honestly, I hate it. Like I'm talking about way back when I actually like try to give AEW a shot, like weekly. Like I just didn't like Orange Cassidy at all.
I love that you said that. I am a huge I was a huge Orange Cassidy hater. I never got the gimmick. I didn't like the gimmick. I thought, and I still think to this day, he's never evolved from day one. He's still the same character.
He
He
has
has not.
not.
He's
Does he
not
still do the
changed.
hand in pockets good thing?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's the same.
he's identical.
Okay.
I think of all the people in AEW, he is the most the same from day one.
Thanks, Matt. As he said, we covered this. Tony Khan always feels like he's trying to sell you something. Doesn't feel genuine. Yeah, that's 1000% what it is. It's a fake. Now, Orange Cassidy, he has not changed. He still does the same thing, but he changes it up once in a while. Sometimes he'll put his hands in his pocket and do his thing. Sometimes he'll get beat up first and then do it. He always does that spot no matter what. He's never changed. So this is where I was leading to, since Clutch is aware of who Orange Cassidy is, and Chris is a big fan. Chris loves Orange Cassidy more than almost the Undertaker of the AEW.
I don't remember saying that, but okay.
Do you see him turning heel? And if he does, would it benefit his career? He's going. He walked away with Don Callis.
Don Callis. I can't remember though. I guess Don Callis. He's always a heel, right? Because he was with the Bucks, and then they turn on him or whatever.
He was always a heel. He's never been babyface.
I mean, because I think Don Callis is a really good heel. I don't know. Could it be good for him? Yes, because his character needs to grow somehow. It's just going to be weird to see him as a heel because he's always been the lazy, as they call it, sloth style wrestler. So it'd be weird to see him drastically change to like, okay, now I'm serious and, I'm not going to just screw around all the time. But it could be good for him for sure. He needs something different.
We didn't see Jungle Boy as a heel. Now I think he's doing the best work of his career. Obviously, he hasn't had much of a career, but he's killing it. And you need to go watch that Twitter promo because he did. Remember we made fun of Jack Perry because he couldn't cut a promo to save his life.
Yes.
That promo backstage, and all those AEW guys do it. Daddy Magic does great promos after shows on Twitter, just like Jack Perry did, talking about Kenny Omega. It was great. Jack Perry, did you see he got punched in the face for real?
No.
Anyone catch that? He got punched in the face for real. And the whole time he was walking back up the aisle after they beat up Kenny Omega, he's like, oh, like CM Punk beat him up or something. and he references it in the promo. He's like, this is all you got? And you could see it on live TV. He actually got punched in the face for real. And his eye swole real quick and he was bleeding out of his eye. It was pretty intense. But yeah, he could take a punch from Kenny Omega. Look, all I say is in a couple of weeks, we see pockets. We see Mr. Orange Cassidy come out with a black leather jacket, some black pants, and a black shirt with Don Callis. Why not? I think that would be really cool for him.
Yeah, give him something new. I'm ready to see him do something new. Because listen, we see him do all the lazy fighting and the little kicks and the hands in the pockets and whatever. But I was there at that pay-per-view in Jacksonville. It was like the first show they did after COVID where he had the triple threat match for the championship.
You were there for that with Pac? Or was it Pac or was it? It was Pac, right?
It was Pac. Yeah, I was there.
That was a great match.
I went to that show. And that was my first and only time at Daly's Place. Let me tell you, I don't like much about Jacksonville, but Daly's Place, if you can ever go watch a show there, do it. It would be worth it. If they have another pay-per-view, it's worth the drive up there. It's such a unique venue.
Hey, and I hear they're actually trying to get seat fillers because they only had 2,000 people there on Dynamite that night.
Probably.
You didn't hear that? Then that was a real thing. They were advertising for seat fillers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they ended up doing something pretty cool. I'll say pretty cool because they give it to like army members or something like that. And
yes, they did.
If you can't fill an arena, might as well, and do something cool for like contributing members to society.
Yep.
So that's cool. But yes, they still can't fill an arena.
Nope.
No.
But that match there was such a good match for Orange Cassidy. And I was blown away by it. I'm like, oh, so he can actually like for real wrestle and put on a really good match. So I don't know, maybe if he does do a heel turn, he can display more of that and show what a good wrestler he can actually be. Because I think there's a lot more to him than what he shows regularly on AEW. Because he's had the same gimmick for like even years before he got to AEW. Like this has been like his lifetime gimmick. Like
it just doesn't make sense now. He's a babyface feuding against Trent, who just turned on him, and he's going to turn on double turn. Everyone's turning at the same time. Yeah. Maybe Don Callis.
Everyone's turning on Chuck.
Good. Chuck
It's your
sucks.
dreams come true.
Chuck sucks. Hey, Clutch, if there was a wrestler that I could just say, you know what? I could pick one person to never wrestle again, ever, and we get all of his library deleted so we never have to even watch old matches. It'd be Chuck.
You see, that might be coming true. They say that he might not be able to wrestle anymore. Your dreams might be coming true. No more Chuck.
I don't even know Clutch knows who Chuck is.
I don't know who Chuck is. The only
You're
Chuck I
so
know is from Billy and Chuck from back in the day.
you are so lucky that you don't know Chuck. Anyway, let's move on and shift over to the WWE. We had a draft that happened on Friday night and Monday night. A lot of huge questions I'm going to have for Clutch. I'm not understanding their strategy. Nick Aldis, I'm assuming per canon, per TV show, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce were making these picks, correct?
Yes.
So do they need a brain aneurysm? Is there a reason why they picked Jey Uso in the first round over people like AJ Styles or Randy Orton or Bianca Belair was the first overall? I'm just trying to figure something out.
Wait, so is this redraft format or dynasty? Because if it's Randy Orton, he has less value in a dynasty draft than he would in a redraft league.
I'm just trying to figure out the logic. Do you like what I'm trying to get to? Do you like the way they do the draft, Clutch?
I might surprise you with this. I really don't, because I think what really messes it up is the 2-night format, because they want to keep both nights interesting, so they can't just do just pick from the best on Friday and then just pick from the rest on Monday. So they have to like even it out, and then even when they do even it out because of the draft pools, it's still doesn't make sense. So I don't like the draft, like the way it's like formatted. They did a couple of cool things in terms of like order, how they on Monday when they picked Punk before Drew, and then Drew got mad and it was part of a story. That was cool. But I don't like how it's set up, because in what world, like, you just had like one of the most like dominant NXT champions go into like the 4th round, almost near last, over like a few guys that went on Monday because Ilya barely got drafted apparently. So it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like the draft like that. I did enjoy the actual shows though, not the draft.
So Chris Koffler, I have to let you know this. On round one, night one, round one, the first pick was Bianca Belair. That's fine. She's a superstar. She's probably the best athlete in the entire WWE. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Right? It's like drafting Travis Kelce. You want to lock up one of the best women you could probably get. Lock up that tight end. Raw decided, and let me tell you some of the people that are on this list. Some of the people: Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, like I said, AJ Styles. Just to name a few. They went on Jey Uso 101 for Raw, and SmackDown went Carmelo Hayes, which I love Hayes. I do. I think he's great. I think Carmelo Hayes is going to be a superstar. But he was drafted ahead of Seth freaking Rollins. So SmackDown's like, you know what? I don't want one of the best players or best wrestlers in the world. I don't want him. Don't need him. We'll go Carmelo. The fuck? Like, I'm sorry, Bobby. I just wish they would make it make sense. That's all, because I'm watching the show going, wait a minute. I just watched the real NFL draft. The Bears like Caleb Williams, but you know what? They're going to go ahead and take, Jerry Rice's kid. Like, what is happening? Why can't they make it make sense? It's like the entire WWE corporation or creative team has never seen a draft, NFL, NHL, MLB, anything. They don't know how to do it. And this has been years and years and years and years of failure, in my opinion. So I hated it.
So I think I saw the stipulation this year that was different than in years past. Was the champions all were staying put? None of them were available to be drafted.
They were all locked except for the women's tag team champions.
Yes,
and the speed champion
hasn't been crowned yet.
Okay,
really?
Yeah, no, I think the finals is like next week or something.
Don't tell me you watch that. Are you serious?
It's 3 minutes of your day.
Hold on. Well, that's every match in WWE. What are you talking about? WWE speed.
It's all a speed tournament. And then did you say that they had, because they wanted to stretch it out, they had like pools of people on each night that you could pick from?
Yeah, it was separated. Never explained like how it's separated, but it was just separated between to keep it interesting, I guess.
Okay, because that's what I was going to suggest if they weren't already doing that. Because I get it. You don't want to make the next night if they were starting on what SmackDown and then moving to Raw afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want Raw to be a dud of a show because all the good people have already been taken. So
yeah,
then
that makes sense.
I
But
don't
the order
under,
just doesn't.
yeah, that doesn't make sense then. So if they had like a pool of people they could pick from on Friday and then a different pool of people on Monday, to where you have a good mix of men, women, tag teams, superstars, jobbers. I don't understand then why, yeah, why would Jey Uso go 101? Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. And another thing, and I don't know if they fix this year or not, but like I never understood the logic behind like you can take one person or you can take a whole team of a whole stable of people. Was that still in effect this year?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you, they but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You mean like the ability to split up a team?
Yeah, like if they're like, oh, I don't want all of New Day, I just want Xavier, so I'm just going to take Xavier and I don't care about Kofi.
They didn't do that this year, did they?
Okay.
Um, kind of. So I'm trying to find when the bloodline was drafted because they drafted the bloodline just Solo, Tonga, and Paul Heyman. So Jimmy wasn't involved, Roman wasn't involved, which we all know why, and The Rock wasn't involved. But they are all part of the bloodline, so therefore they just split up the bloodline.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't
the-
understand like what's the wrestling logic there to not just take the whole team? Like if you're going to be able to take everybody, what's the wrestling logic? Did they ever explain that or anything? Like why would you want to only take one or two guys?
yeah, I don't know. They basically did it for everybody. Everybody got picked together except for Bloodline because
Yeah.
Roman withdrew from the draft and things like that. But
Roman's
yeah,
going
because
back to NXT. He withdrew himself from the draft. He's not being drafted. He's going back to NXT. Like, how does that make sense, Clutch? How can you just withdraw yourself from the draft? Let's say Marvin Harrison withdrew himself from the draft this year. Where would he go? Does anyone know? Would he just become an unrestricted? Would he just become a free agent?
No, I don't think
I
so.
guess
I
I
think
guess that's the angle that WWE's taking in that. Basically, Roman can go where he wants.
I mean, I understand why they do that. I just wish there was a better way. Like, hey, anyone that's inactive or anyone that's injured or whatever, you cannot be drafted. Because Rhea wasn't drafted, was she? I don't think.
No,
I don't
Judgment
think
Day
she
was
was.
drafted without Rhea because she was hurt. Yeah,
Exactly. I wish they would like say that. Hey, we can't draft these guys because of this reason or X, Y, X, whatever. There's a lot of flaws in the draft, but it is cool to shake things up. I'm glad we have some new people on new teams. Like LWO went to Raw, which is much needed. Much needed.
Damage
Um,
Control for Raw. I like that one.
Damage Control. They must. Adam Pierce must be high on them because they went before CM Punk. They also went before Kevin Owens. They went before Drew McIntyre. They went before Drew McIntyre. Like, I just wish if you're gonna split the pools up, that's cool because you need it. Clutch
yeah.
explained it. You can't have Raw just drafting Tozawa, right? You can't have that. But make it make more sense. Like the first ever draft, I believe it was Ric Flair and Vince, and they were picking like top dogs. Like I got Undertaker, I got this guy. Like if you're gonna split them up, that's fine. Still make the top dogs top dogs.
Yes.
It makes them more important. I
Yeah.
would think.
Yeah, WWE just they just haven't done a proper draft since maybe 2004 when it was Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff, and that was cool. But like other than that, yeah, there hasn't been a proper draft in 20 years.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. And not everyone got drafted. There's a supplemental draft. What do you think about this? And I know that's never going to happen. Why not have just a one night you draft NXT stars because they are the rookies, they are the call ups. Just draft NXT stars. Only have 3 rounds like that. People would still be stoked for that, and you could have trades. Like I'm trading this person to that
So
over there.
that's what I was just about to say. What if that's how you got people to move shows was a trade or something? Like I'll trade you this person and this person for that person in your next pick.
Or
And then
anything.
there you go. You can move people, and then yeah, that's where they should be doing it. That's a new format that I think would be more interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to be accurate with it because I don't want to say something that's wrong, but I mean only 4 NXT people went up. So
That would be
there's
tough then.
yeah, that'd be tough because I mean that's basically what 2 rounds if you stretch it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I get that too, man. I really do. It's just I get so excited for the draft because I feel like they're gonna do something awesome, and it just becomes a boring. It's better than the whole this person on Raw is fighting this person on SmackDown, and whoever wins that show gets the pick, and then it's just a screen of a bunch of pictures, and it stops on John Cena. It's like
as a
what?
kid, I used to love that.
No,
As a
it was
kid,
the worst.
as a kid, that was fun. But
It didn't
once you
make
grow up and
sense.
like see it, yeah, it was pretty stupid. John Cena getting drafted twice in one night.
Yep. John Cena got drafted twice in one night. I do like the fact that they didn't change titles, like where we didn't have that awkward Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch exchange. Charlotte undrafted, by the way. They didn't want her. Nobody wanted Charlotte Flair. I'm just saying. I forgot about her. I didn't know. I forgot that she even existed. To be
She's
honest with you.
basically on the same boat as Rhea, no? Just because injury.
Yeah, but like, don't you think? I don't know. CM Punk's injured. He was drafted.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
I'll be.
Charlotte, by the way, she's in France.
Oh, she is for what?
They, I mean, Backlash.
Oh, that is a Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you excited for Smack or for what Backlash? Are you excited for that?
I'm always excited for the international shows because of the crowds.
The crowds are awesome.
The crowd. They showed videos of the live events they've had in Austria and Italy, and they were loud. And so, having experienced it myself, because Money in the Bank, best experience of my life, like as a wrestling fan. So, and France, I've heard that they have a really, really good crowd whenever they do live events there. So I'm looking forward to it just because of that.
Too, I'll watch it because I want to see Styles and Cody Rhodes. Feels like that's a little rushed. And all this whole pay per view was rushed because the draft. A lot of these people are moving shows. Like we have Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. That should have been a long build up. That's a legit awesome match, like for Survivor Series or it's like a big pay per view. They just threw it on here like a throwaway match. Kind of sucks. Damian Priest and Jey Uso. That seems like a mid card title now. Kind of sucks, but I'm excited for the match, of course, because I think Damian Priest is pretty good. What do you think about this triple threat match when they threw Naomi and Tiffany Stratton in? Is this so Naomi can take the pin?
Probably. I like the idea of the triple threat though because I just like everybody involved.
You can't pin Tiff. Bailey can't lose. But how's Bailey going to pin Naomi? Like, how's that going to work? They're friends. Someone going to turn heel? Is Naomi going to turn heel? I don't know.
Good question.
I don't know. Kabuki Warriors versus Bianca Belair and Jade. That title has to change, right? Bianca's taking that title and Jade?
Yeah. And that way they get to carry it on both shows because women's tag team titles travels. So
Yep. And then we have Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Tam. By the way, was it you who shared that meme this morning on Twitter where why is Solo looking all tough and cool when he's been like he's 0-36 in his life in WWE?
I didn't share it, but I feel that way.
It's so funny.
I do like the Bloodline story where it's going though. It's kind of fresh. It's like it became stale. It has its ups and downs, like because it's like a 3-year long story, but I like where it's going now.
We'll end it on this because then this is like a maybe 10-minute conversation, maybe a little bit less. Do we see Roman coming back as a babyface, recruiting Jay, recruiting Jimmy, getting maybe Sammy involved to team up against Rock, Tonga, Solo? Who's the other guy that they have on their team?
Jacob Fatu when he did.
Jacob Fatu because he's going to be there. He's going to debut. He's going to be at probably a Backlash.
I hope so.
In War Games.
The thing is, I don't think Rock would work War Games.
Why not?
It just feels like, I mean, you know the reality of the situation. He's a movie star, and that seems like a liability issue.
WWE is so tame though. Like their War Game matches are so blah. Like they're good because the stories that are involved, but there's no one getting hung. There's no one getting a chain wrapped around their neck. There's no blood. Like it's just a regular match.
It's not a violence-driven match. It's more of a story-driven match.
Yes.
But I don't know.
Well, last year we had Randy Orton in War Games, and he wasn't really ready, and he was in the match for maybe a minute, 2 minutes, and the show just ended. They can easily have Rock come in last, and then boom, wrap up the match right then and there. Easily do that.
It is possible, I think, because I mean, Cody in one of his promos after WrestleMania, he like made clear to the crowd that he thinks Rock has more than one match. So you're probably going to see Rock wrestle 2 or 3 more times before calling it uh, when he ends it with Roman eventually. So I mean, it's possible. There's ways to like keep him safe in a War Games match.
I see The Rock doing this. I see The Rock facing Cody at SummerSlam. I see him losing. I see Rock. I see the Bloodline versus the Bloodline in War Games, and then I see Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. Those are the 3 matches I see him lined up in.
It's about right.
Would you agree, Christopher?
Absolutely. All the way.
You're such a big WWE mark. I mean, you just really are into it. Chris, let me tell you something. It's a better show. You would gain what you would have. You'd be more entertained watching at least 1 hour of Raw.
I only have one issue right now as it stands, and you just touched on it earlier. Their matches are just too short for me. Like, I like some wrestling in my wrestling show. I can't just sit there and listen to them talk for 3 hours. I just can't do it. I need some actual wrestling. I do need good stories. I don't want it to be a Rampage where there's no wrestling or there's no stories and it's all wrestling, because that's not good either. But I need a little more wrestling in my wrestling show.
They're getting that though, and you're not watching.
They're getting it. I watched an episode not that long ago, recently, post Mania, and it was just by 9 o'clock, I had seen 1 3-minute match again. So I'll give it some more time. I'll keep trying. I just need to see a little bit more wrestling.
I will say
in the
this
show.
because they surprisingly gave it a lot of times during the draft. They did Gunther versus Xavier Woods, and they gave it like 20 minutes.
That's what I want to see. Not every match needs to go 20 minutes. You know, there's a time and a place for 20-minute matches, and there's a time and a place for 3-minute matches. But it's tough whenever I turn on that show and like by 9:30, I've watched 1 5-minute wrestling match and 1 3-minute wrestling match. I've watched 8 minutes of wrestling in an hour and a half. And that's where it's tough for me. I hope they get to like featuring the wrestler. I think they have some of the best wrestlers in the world there, and I'd like to see them showcase their talents a little more.
I agree with you. Let me tell you the one thing that bugs me, my biggest gripe of WWE television. And it'll never go away because somebody put it in there, and then now it's just a forever thing. We got, Xavier Woods versus Gunther next, right? Then you see Gunther does his whole thing, the whole introduction, does the whole thing where he takes off his robe, walks to the ring, does the thing. Commercial. And then it's a fucking 5 minutes of commercials. We come back. There's a backstage interview. Then there's this angle. And then we're back in the ring with the music still playing. Gunther's just standing there like a fucking idiot. And then it's been 20 minutes since his ring entrance. And then we see Xavier Woods come out. It's like, I'm uninterested at this time. I am no longer interested. So what I do now as a fan, when I see Gunther or whoever come out, and they do their entrance, I'll watch the entrance because the entrance is half the show, half the performance. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
There's some I hate, there's some I love. Gunther's is one I love. I turn it off. And in 20 minutes, I turn it back on, and then boom, the bell's ringing. Because Clutch, correct me if I'm wrong, that happens every show.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Awful.
as a kid, like before I knew any better, I used to think they actually just stood there the entire time listening to the music before I actually went to the show, and they actually cut to everything else. But yeah, it was a funny image in my head before I knew any better. Of them just standing there for like 5 minutes with the song playing on loop.
As a viewer, as a consumer, what am I thinking? Like, hey, I just saw Gunther come out 20 minutes ago. Why are we going to a backstage promo? Why are we doing this? Where's Xavier Woods? Why are we not having this match now?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I lose interest.
The entrance serves as a way to get you hyped up for the match.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
that's the way they do it.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like that's part of what you said. It's part of their performance. So I feel like that's what gets you going. The music hits and the lights hit and the pyro if they have it, and their video package, and it gets you all hyped for them. And then to cut away for 15 or 20 minutes. Yeah, it's kind of like, well, I cared about it then, but now it's kind of whatever. Like, go straight into the match. Give me some 10, 12, 15-minute matches, throughout your show. Give me a handful. You got 3 hours. Why can't you find more than? Because what was at that time? I don't know if you told Clutch about that, where Josh timed how much actual wrestling was on each show, a Monday Night Raw, and then a Dynamite. And do you ever remember close to what those numbers were? It was like 20 minutes of wrestling in 3 hours or something, or like 17 minutes of wrestling in 3 hours on Raw. And then there was at least, I don't know, closer to an hour or like 45 minutes of wrestling on Dynamite, because he timed it out. It was promos, wrestling, and commercials.
Yeah. And I think Raw had like maybe one match from Dynamite was all the wrestling from Raw.
Yeah.
And it was kind of ridiculous. But guys, you guys have to understand, and Clutch understands this. It's a different show. It's a different dynamic. They're more story driven. I do like to see the promos. I know Clutch likes seeing the promos.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre is probably the most interesting character on that show.
Did you watch the draft on Monday? The entire show?
I think Monday we were watching the Panthers lose or win.
Oh yeah,
I watched the entire Lightning game.
I was multi watching.
So
yeah, it was really good.
I was going to say, I agree with you. It should be very heavily story driven, but you're going to tell me you can't find one promo or maybe two promos that they could get rid of or cut down on, that they could use that to actually show like a real match?
No, what would you want, Chris? Because do you want Kyle Fletcher versus Swerve, or do you want meaningful matches at the pay-per-view? Because that's what WWE's been crushing lately. Their pay-per-views have been all tremendous.
They're good.
All of them.
That's
because
why
they don't
I'll
burn
watch
these
some of the
matches.
pay-per-views.
Don't burn these matches on Raw or SmackDown.
There's a way that you can have both, though.
Hey, Clutch, let me ask you this. Would you be invested if Drew McIntyre and Otis went 15 to 20 minutes on Raw?
Why?
I'm just asking, because we saw Swerve and Kyle Fletcher do it.
You're asking a question.
We saw Swerve and Kyle Fletcher. We saw Kyle Fletcher and Swerve do it. So would you want, in the same quality of person, Swerve champion, main eventer, Kyle Fletcher a jobber, nobody, Otis jobber, nobody, Drew McIntyre main eventer? Now, would you be interested in that 15-minute match, Chris? I'm asking you now.
I'm going to answer your question and with something else, though. But I'm saying I'm not saying that AEW is doing it perfectly. I'm not saying that at all. But remember back when 2020, 2021 AEW, there was stories, and some of their storytelling was done in the match itself. Some of it was done in a promo, but some of it was done in the match itself. We were getting good matches, and we were saying, holy crap, we are getting this for free on regular TV. That's when they were getting their viewers, and they were still, on top of that, able to put together a good pay-per-view, even though they had their good matches. And that's what I want. I would want that for both programs. 2020 to 2021 AEW, I would like to see that on both AEW and WWE. Then I would watch both regularly.
It's impossible.
At
that time, Chris, you can't compare the two, Chris, because at that time, 2020 and 2021, they were only having 4 pay-per-views a year. WWE has run 12 a year for as long as I've ever been alive or watched. So therefore, it is too many pay-per-views, and that's why this Cody Rhodes and this AJ Styles match is falling short. They have so much history. Bullet Club. They were both leaders of the Bullet Club at one point. They were both rivals in New Japan at one point. There's
AJ faced Dusty.
AJ, there you go. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
AJ came from a small company like TNA and went to the big leagues in WWE. Cody came from AEW, a small company, went to WWE. There's so much going on that they didn't even tell. They didn't scratch the surface. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to probably have this match. Cody's going to go over. Then they'll probably have a rematch. Cody's going to go over. Then we'll have a rematch. Cody will go over. And it's the same fucking WWE formula over and over and over again. And that's where AEW is going. And I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's too many. I get why they do all the pay-per-views, because it's all about money. You're going to get your pay-per-view buys for AEW, and then for WWE and AEW, you're getting all your ticket sales. So I get why they do that. But overall, it makes their weekly shows for both of them not as strong as they should be.
Well, in WWE, you're getting ticket sales. I don't know about the other place.
He's not wrong. I
didn't say they were getting a ton of them, but they are getting more ticket sales than if they didn't have an event at all, you know?
Well,
thanks.
Yeah.
So I get why they're going to do it. It's always about money. That's how everything is. It's about the money. They both could have better shows if they only had 4 pay-per-views to build around, 4 to 6.
Hey, Chris, last night when Jericho and Shibata, or whatever his name is, went 20
Shibata.
minutes for a
Shibata
title
Bread.
for a title that doesn't even get recognized by AEW? Were you watching like this, like holy shit, this is awesome, or were you on your phone a little bit, scrolling Instagram, looking at the hotties, doing your thing? No, you were doing. You know what I did? Fucking turned it off because I will not give Chris Jericho any more minutes of my time ever again. I'm done with Chris Jericho. So, do you want to see that? Do you want to see Shibata versus Jericho for 20 minutes? That means nothing. Nothing. Like again, WWE perspective. Let's think of an old timer: Randy Orton versus Nakamura for 20 minutes. Do we really want to see that? Sure, it'd be awesome, but what does it serve? What is the purpose of this match?
So would you rather, in its place, would you rather see a Tozawa promo for 15 minutes?
But we don't get that. We
Wait,
get
no,
gold.
I'm gonna ask you a question the way you ask it. Would you like to see a Tozawa promo for 15 minutes?
Okay,
If
so
I ask you a question and the
no
answer is
Tozawa
obviously a no, so is that what you want? You love Tozawa promos for 15 minutes.
But we
That's
saw
what you want.
Jericho and Shibata for 15 minutes. That's my point. We're not getting WWE's not giving the mic to fucking Otis for 15 minutes. They're giving it to Chad Gable, who's cutting a Chad Gable again, best run of his career right now. Drew McIntyre, best run of his career right now. Everyone in WWE is on the uprise. They're hot. Everything makes sense. Everything's awesome. Everything on AEW right now is not.
I just would like to see more. You asked me why I'm not watching as much. I just like more wrestling in my show. I've always been that way.
So you're part of the 700,000 people
who likes watching wrestling on wrestling. Yes.
I like it too, Chris. I just wanted to make sense. That's all. We're running in circles at this point. Clutch,
I know.
straighten us up, man. Straighten us up. Tell us we're idiots.
What? Are you idiots? I can always do that.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I am. I still watch. Clutch, I proclaimed I'm never watching AEW again. I'm still watching. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I realized that. I was going to mention it, but
no, this is Josh. He retired. You know, he's retired from fantasy football probably 10 to 15 times, and now he has a fantasy football show. This is Josh.
Yes. I say these things, Clutch, and I mean them at the time. It's just I miss things, and I don't know. I love AEW, and I want them to succeed so bad in the worst way. Like I really do. It's just they have a Tony Khan problem.
did you see, by the way, before you finish, the Cody Rhodes interview about AEW?
Where can I find this?
He had I will send you the link because I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was they asked him about AEW and he was like, I would never want AEW to fail because it gives wrestlers money and makes people's lives better. Da, 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 da. And then he ended it like the last 30 seconds. I will send you the clip when I find it. It was just him. He was pissed at the Tony Storm promo from the press conference about him.
Oh,
He was pissed.
I don't blame him.
Like, the way because I remember people online being like, "Oh, why are people mad? Cody would love something like this." And no, Cody was pissed. He was like, "Don't mention my name."
Well, she didn't really mention his name.
Don't mention me. Basically, he said something like, "I'll send you the promo."
I listen. When she said that was a shot that didn't need to be taken. Cody Rhodes has said nothing but positive things about AEW on his way out. He's been a class act. He said that many times, even on podcasts, the Ariana Hawani podcast, his documentary that came out. He wants them to succeed because it does give other wrestlers an outlet. Listen, that's what I don't get about the fandom, the tribalism of this community on Twitter. There's accounts that the death of AEW. Then there's accounts WWE. They all are friends and they all want both companies to succeed. Yes, they do take shots at each other. Yes, they do. It's a fact. But Becky wouldn't have the bargain. Drew McIntyre wouldn't have re-signed and made as much money without AEW being around. That's a fact. Because they could have lowballed him and said, where are you going to go? TNA? We're going to go.
Yeah, no, competition is good for everyone. That's what I've said for years now on this show. I want both companies to be doing super, super good. Because for years, there was no competition, no real competition to WWE. And the product, it showed. It lagged big time. Like it wasn't nearly as good as it could be, especially with all the people they had. And a lot of that had to do with Vince. But like competition is going to force people to be better. It's going to make them not get lazy with their stories and with the wrestlers putting on shows. Everyone's going to have to be at their best. So I hope both companies succeed.
Well said. Eric Bischoff once said, controversy creates cash. No, competition does.
Yep.
Competition does, and that's something he didn't realize when he wrote that book. And WCW was so awesome because of WWF, and WWF was so awesome because of WCW. Clutch, we can agree on that, right?
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that.
There we go. Any last words before I go out? Because I'm gonna go play some Fortnite. Star Wars is on Fortnite, guys.
I haven't picked up that game in like 5 years.
I play Fortnite. If you play Fortnite, Clutch, if you want to log on tonight, you can add me as a friend. My name is Kitty Meow. That's
Oh my god.
it is MEEOO triple W Kitty Meow. I'll be on Fortnite tonight, guys. If you want to play with me, Chris, if you want to play, maybe I don't know. Seriously, guys, I'm gonna get out of here though because I do have guys texting me. Follow us everywhere. RTW Chris at Miami Clutch PE at Josh Kimmel OUS. We're gonna cry together because both of our teams got beat 4-1.
No.
My hockey team lost to his hockey team, but he doesn't watch hockey, so it doesn't matter. I
I'm
will
a
tell
fool.
you this. Chris can back me up on this. I was a huge Miami Heat fan as a child. Maybe he doesn't know that. Alonzo Mourning was my favorite player of all time until I heard him on the Jim Rome show. He's a piece of shit. So fuck the Miami Heat. I'm sorry they lost. I really am. I love Dwayne Wade though, and I did like LeBron James a lot. Matter of fact, the only NBA game I went to, I know I'm talking a lot. Heat Orlando Magic in Orlando. Vuvacek, I have no idea who he is, but he broke Shaq's record for the most rebounds by the Orlando Magic of all time in one game. I was there that night. Just want to say that. I don't know. It's my only NBA game I've ever been to in my life. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. I have no idea who played that night. I know LeBron that was there, and the girl I was dating loved LeBron James, so I took her that game, and she left me about 2 weeks later. So don't ever spend $500 on tickets, guys, for girls. Don't do it. I'm out of here, guys. I have nothing to say. Clutch, anything else?
No, nothing else. Thank you guys for having me again.
Always. You know what's the best part about that? Just send you a link. Said, I don't know if you want to come on, bro. And he came on. So I really appreciate you coming on, Chris. I always love you as well. Guys, we're out of here. I can't do the thank you